Boom! Cześć ludzie! What's up people? Hola, JT here. Welcome to another episode. Recently, this happened.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you?
And I still can't believe that the President of the United States actually said this.
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III.
You probably saw the whole thing. And if you didn't, you're living under a rock or something like that, because honestly, I think all Europeans are watching very closely what is happening. This is a moment that I believe will go down in the history books, and I hope that this is not going to be a precursor and a deciding moment that unraveled World War III. For certain, a before and after when it comes to diplomacy and international affairs. When it was happening, I could not believe it. I was thinking, are we, this is national television, this is world, international television, and we have the president of a country at war being grilled and being pummeled down, set up by an ally, and you can debatably say the most powerful ally that they have. It's a little bit hard to grasp your head around. I was really thinking, it got my juices flowing, because if we go back to the 24th of February of 2022, when Russia attacked Ukraine and invaded Ukraine, we were in the middle of buying this property that we have, where we live. We had made the decision to move to Poland, and we were putting our life savings into this house. And it kind of like froze us a little bit. It stopped us on our track, because we were thinking, is this the right moment to move to Poland? So that means that all of a sudden we're going to be neighboring Russia occupied territory. What is going to happen? You know, are they going to stop there? We know the history. We know what is going on. We moved here anyways. We still felt it was the right thing to do. But for sure, it was part of a little bit of anxiety-inducing moment in our lives. I come from a country whose last armed conflict took place in the year 1965. It was a civil war that happened in the Dominican Republic. So to me, it's not something that I grew up with. I did not, like many Poles, for example, many Europeans, did not grow up thinking of the worry of a potential war breaking out again. This is the first time in history where I find myself thinking, is it viable for me and for my family to stay, for example, in Poland when something is happening in Ukraine, and the outcome of that conflict can have a direct impact on the lives of Polish people or Polish citizens and residents. Now, what's my take on the Russian war in Ukraine? That's not hard to decipher. We even made a video, Carolina and I, showing our support to Ukraine when everything broke out. Of course, not everything is so beautiful on one side and so uber ugly on the other side. I believe that there are Russian people in Russia that don't agree with this, that they don't support this, that they would like to just live a normal life. At the same time, I believe, as with everything in the world, that even on the side of Ukraine, the people that lost their lives, the people that lost their homes, like even them, I'm sure that there are some people that are not doing good things. It happens. So I just want you to know that I am aware that I don't think it's about satanizing one side and completely sanctifying another side. 3 years have passed, and now we find ourselves in this very moment where we don't know if we are seeing the very first days of a very dark period coming to the world. So we're talking about this particular incident that took place some days ago, and it's the thing that got me to think and made me sit here and make this video for you guys. I think we have to talk about the lead actors in this interaction. The first is, of course, President Zelenskyy. The second one is Vice President J.D. Vance. And of course, the third, President Donald Trump. The fourth one that I'm going to include is the magnate, Elon Musk. Because I think he has a big role to play here. Do I believe that President Zelenskyy is a dictator? Do I believe that President Zelenskyy has been misusing the funds and just getting rich and his people getting rich? And he doesn't want to give the power away. He doesn't want to let go. His people are dying to vote and to get him out of power, but he doesn't want to. I don't believe that, but I am not a Ukrainian, and I'm not going to be talking about what Zelenskyy did or did not do. I think that he's a brave leader. I think that he has led his country in a potentially the most difficult time in its at least recent history. I particularly like the guy. If my country were to find itself in a situation similar to Ukraine, I wish we had a leader that would behave like Zelenskyy has behaved. Now, J.D. Vance, the vice president, to me was astounding to hear a vice president talking like that, expressing himself in that manner, especially towards a president. And the fact that he had the audacity to talk to Zelenskyy like that, to me was incredible. Like, it's world politics, but the moment that you're dealing between different countries, even if it's politics, it's international affairs. There is a pyramid that is almost as strict as the military. You know, you have ranks and you need to respect them. Now, Donald Trump is a person that, in my opinion, is a narcissist. He for sure has a lot of issues. I'm not gonna sit here and just talk about Donald Trump. I think you guys all know. I think he's extremely charismatic. I'm not gonna lie, before this incident and before a couple of things he's done and said, sometimes I even found myself kind of like secretly liking the guy. You know, like I'm thinking, like, you know, this guy must be just acting. I'm sure like he must be a nice, fun guy to hang out with in the privacy of his home or something, not when it relates to world politics, because he really is charismatic. I do like something that he has that I think is lacking among politicians these days. He is a straight shooter. He will say things kind of like the way he thinks about them. Now the problem is that his train of thought is not too clear, and it's not properly digested. Now we see he has a huge tendency to lie. So all of those things are wrong. But I can see how his voters and supporters like him, because he is literally giving it to you the way he sees it, for sure. The guy has something that connects with people. Now, the fourth person is Elon Musk, head of SpaceX, Tesla. I used to like Elon Musk a lot. I used to watch a lot of his interviews, especially when he was building SpaceX, the first launches and everything, and what he was doing with Tesla. And I thought, hey man, this is a guy that kind of makes sense. You know, he's making sense. And then slowly, more and more things came out, and then he bought Twitter, now X, and the tweets that he posts some of them are very weird. And more, you see that there's like an underlying persona that maybe potentially was always there, and now it's coming to the surface. Some of the things that are being reported on the news are, downright scary about Elon Musk. And this whole thing that happened between Trump, Zelenskyy, JD, happened because of this signing of the minerals, this deal between Ukraine and the United States and the minerals, and of course, Ukraine seeking some security guarantees. And you wonder, what are these minerals? If you do a little bit of research, it's very clear. It's lithium. And lithium is huge when it comes to the world of what? EVs. And who is a person that has vast interest in the world of EVs? Elon Musk. And who is a person that is kind of like a right hand of the president? You see him at the meetings. Elon Musk. Am I afraid? You might ask me that question. And the answer is, I am. I truly am. I am afraid for my children, for my son, my daughter, my wife, her family, friends, Polish people, Europeans. I am afraid that we might be entering a very dark period in the history of Europe, in the history of the world. We are somewhat trading uncharted waters here. It's the first time in the history of the United States of America that it seems like the leaders of that country are not necessarily supporting some of the ideals they've always supported, like democracy, fairness, protection of the weak. And listen, I am not pro-American blinded person. I know that America has done terrible things, but it has to be said that it has never been necessarily part of a dictatorship. So, yeah, I am a little bit afraid. But I think it's okay to be afraid. I think it's normal, and I think you have to use that fear to get a plan of action going. What would you do if scenario A happens? What would you do if scenario B happens? And the next question you might ask me is, will I leave Poland? I'm not going anywhere. For now, at least, I'm not going anywhere. And I know that the for now part seems a little... I am here to guarantee the survival of my family and of my children. I've had these discussions with my wife, as a matter of fact. I've even said to her, hey, listen, if I have to pick up arms and I have to go defend this country that is the country of my children, as much as Dominican Republic is also, I would do it. And of course, my wife is like, what are you talking about? Your children, your family needs you more. And it's a whole conversation that is, I think, needs to take place. And I really, really invite you to start it in your own family. Don't let the unexpected happen for you to have a plan. What are you going to do? And let's not judge anybody here. Those that leave are not to be demoralized, are not to be messed with. Your sole objective on this earth is to guarantee your survival and the survival of your loved ones. That is the most important thing. So if someone needs to flee, it has the same amount, or at least at a different kind of interpretation, but it has the same amount of importance of a person that goes and fights. Because those that go and fight have a role to play, but those that leave also have a role to play. The ones that leave, they send money, they help, they host refugees that need to be taken, especially weaker people, older people, children. So I want to make sure that we don't immediately establish that if someone left, they are abandoning the ship. And the ones that stayed are the true warriors. Because many people that stay, sometimes it happens that they also end up doing some bad things. Not everyone that stays is doing good. But still, massive respect for people that decide to stay and fight for their country. So will I leave? Time will tell. For now, I'm not going anywhere. This is home. Boom! That's all, guys. That's the end of this episode. I hope you liked it. Tell me in the comments, what do you think about all this? And what do you think will come of all this turmoil? Are we in for a potential third world war? Or will Europe solidify, become strong enough to deter any potential attack to help Ukraine win this war? Will the US side with Russia? Will the US go to war with Europe? So many unknowns. See you on another episode.